Welcome to the Neighborhood Pulse. Wherever you are in life, you never forget the neighborhood. This is the show that talks all about real estate to real estate professionals. Anything you want to know? We got it covered. How to maximize your career, how to get the deal closed, how to just be, well, perhaps a realtor or a lender. Who knows, right? That's it. Of course, you're going to hear the pulse from the industry professionals. Join host Kevin Callback from Realty Executive Cornerstones to learn what the Neighborhood Pulse is all about. Airs every Friday right here, 1 p.m. Central on 216 The Net. Today, rebranding, and what the Pulse is all about. Kevin, welcome back, brother. How are you?
Hey, how are you, my friend?
I am well, healthy now.
Fantastic. Yeah, man. I heard you had the COVID last week, and
Oh, good.
you were down. I got another lender with COVID, Kyle, our good
Oh,
friend.
yeah, good friend.
Hope he's feeling better.
I
Better.
must be going around banks
That's
or
right.
something.
That's right. Yeah, don't go to the bank, whatever you do.
Right, right.
That is kind of funny. Kind of
Welcome
crazy.
in, new studio since you've last
Wow,
been here.
yeah.
We've totally done a rehab.
Yeah, we got to do like a pan.
Yeah.
Show everybody.
We'll get a bunch of different views in here
That's it.
for our listeners.
That looks
for
right.
our listeners.
Views for yeah. Yeah, like we said, we always got a face for radio, right?
That's right.
My goodness, so that's it. Man, I have had so many fantastic discussions over the last month. I mean, the market is just changing. It's people are looking at what does the future holds, right? And man, there's some uncertainty. We don't have a crystal ball. We hear
Boy, if
what.
we did, though.
Well, my goodness, right? I'd like to know just the lottery numbers once. That's all. That's all I need. But yeah, I've been talking to so many people, and there's so many different people with different ideas. But the top industry professionals, when you're talking to people like Dave Ramsey, and you're talking to people like Glenn Beck, and you're talking to people like Inman's. Inman's is a great opportunity to just learn what's going on in the industry in all facets. I do feel that a couple of people out there, and I won't name any names, are a little bit of panic peddling, and I don't appreciate that because I don't think it's necessary. I think we have to plan for the best, or plan for the worst, hope for the best, and really just stay even keel. And if you stay working and you stay busy and you do the things that you do to be successful, you're still going to be successful. You're still going to have business. You're going to have those referrals. You're going to have, those clients for life. So when we sell a house, we don't want to sell you one house. We want to sell you whatever property you buy in the future. Any state, any location, land, houses, mansions, whatever you buy. We want to be your guy.
Boats.
Not boats, no VINs. We can buy
It's got a license
PIN.
plate.
Yeah, if it's got a PIN and not a VIN.
If you got a pin, you're in. If you got a VIN,
Not so much. That's it. And we had that recently, actually. There's some manufacturing mobile homes that aren't like regular lenders don't work with those.
Yeah,
There's more of a car loan.
They're
Yeah.
a little bit more affordable.
Yeah, they are. Their taxes are very low because you don't own the land you sit on. Am I getting some feedback a little bit of a whistle?
I hope
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not positive. Okay, cool beans. But yeah, so the big trend for that. But your HOA fee is like $600-700 a month,
Yeah.
being huge but that covers your water, your electric, your gas, your garbage, your cable, everything is included in that, which is amazing. I don't know how we got off on that tangent, but that's amazing stuff. But anyway, we're talking. We have rebranded this a couple times.
Yeah.
We said, who's our audience? What are we doing? What are we looking for? And we're really looking to help anybody in the real estate realm be better at what they do, do it consistently. And whoops, that's me. Sorry, folks. God bless.
That is consistent.
That's consistent. That's right. That's right. Thanks for calling. So I will shut that off real quick. I'm sorry, guys. How can we help anybody be better at what they do in real estate, whether it's lending, inspecting, buying, selling, etc.? So if you're a lender, you're an agent, you're an inspector, you're radon tech, whatever you do, this is the show for you. This is where you're going to find out how to treat your clients best to make sure that you have that professionalism that keeps people coming back.
Yeah. Not like a coach, because there are a lot
Oh,
of
no.
real estate coaches out there.
Amen.
But more, we here at the Pulse want to give you the neighborhood pulse. Here's what's happening in the neighborhoods. Here's how to, here's some tips and tricks from. You're going to have a lot of guests, from
Absolutely.
lenders, from realtors, from
Home inspectors, yeah, everybody.
You name it. If it's got to do with the house or your neighborhood,
Yeah.
we're going to be bringing people in and chatting with them.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to, if you're an industry professional, it's great because you're going to see what they're doing, what they have to offer, and maybe that's something you want to look into or research a little deeper. We'll also have their contact information so you can reach out to them if you need to.
Yeah.
If you're an agent, we want you to know how to do your system so you're successful.
Yeah.
If you're a home buyer or seller, there's a great show for you because you can see what people are doing out there and things you should look for in a realtor when you're ready to hire one, right? Or if you want to become one. You know, we're always looking for new realtors, people with great personalities and the persistency to get in the business, stay in the business, and not run off wild and crazy, because we can. So about 80% of people that come into the business don't stay. They're out within 2 years. You know,
Wow,
I think 2 years, it's expensive, you know. So I think people, when they say, man, realtors make a ton of money, do we really? Like, we divide that so many different ways. You know, everybody gets a little piece of that pie, and by the end of the day, you're like, hey, I can go get a Happy Meal. Yes.
Well,
right.
You can make good money, but what I think where a lot of the misconception is from the end user and from people who want to break into the business is that you're not just a salesperson. I think a lot of people think that realtors are, you know, it's like being a clerk at Kohl's, let's say. Hey, you know what? I'm going to show up, and instead of, you know, men's slacks, I've got houses to offer. So as soon as I get my license, people just start picking up the phone, calling me, and I'm going to make a lot of money. When in fact, what you do is if you are a realtor, you just opened your own business.
Yes, you are an entrepreneur, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you want to run your own business, you have to run it like any other business.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show up. You know, you have to be there, and you have to do the work.
Yeah.
So there are agents that come into the business that come in thinking that they're going to make a lot of money. They're a realtor now, and people are just going to be beating down their door, and they're going to call their friends, and they're going to buy and sell houses. It's tough. So we tell you to start with your sphere, right? Call your sphere first. People that you know, like, and trust: family, friends, relatives, coaches, dentists, whatever. People that know you on a personal level, and ask them if they or someone they know is looking to buy or sell a home or property within the next 6 to 12 months. So you're not putting them on the spot like, are you looking to buy or sell now? No. Nope. Leave me alone. Stop. I don't want to talk about this. But you say 6 to 12 months, they say, hey, you know, I've been thinking about it, you know. That starts that conversation, right? And that's really what we want, is to have conversations, get to know people on a basic level, and just know that we're people just like they are, right? None of us are perfect. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Trust me. Failed repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly.
The fun part about what we do and what the Neighborhood Pulse is about is anybody who's out there listening to us right now, I'm gonna drop a little knowledge on you that's gonna surprise you. You live someplace.
That's right. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And anybody in the profession, the people that you work with need to live someplace.
That's right. Exactly right.
And so the idea is, if we can help you along the way. Of course, my background is in the mortgage industry.
Sure.
NMLS 1258805. And the fun thing is, realtors and people in our profession are problem solvers.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You don't even really have to be a salesperson anymore, because the industry has changed that much. But you have to be able to be knowledgeable and be a problem solver. As a realtor, what are some of the problems that you see solve all the time, or common problems?
See, my files don't have any problems.
Oh,
they're just all smooth, so I can't help you with that. So recently we've seen a lot of appraisals, kind of getting a little wonky on us, right? So in that bigger dollar number where prices are dropping and stuff, is people are looking at those prices, what they sold for 6 months ago in May and June, or 2 years ago, and they're saying, well, that sold in May for this, so my house is worth this, a much higher number, where the market is really kind of coming down. So now the appraisers are looking at it a little bit differently. They're looking at the pendings. What's the trend going on here? Where is the market? What is the stability, etc. So we're seeing that we're having to not educate because appraisers they went to school, they're licensed, they're amazing, but we definitely need to sometimes share some information that they might not know, about the quality of the build compared to those homes. So if you're working in an area, those homes, the neighborhood, the ins and outs of some of this stuff going on, and it's important to use somebody local. Because they do know those things and go to the appraiser and say, yeah, I realize that's in Niles, but right across the street, that's Park Ridge, which is a little bit more money. So this one gets a little bit more money because they share the same schools in this area, and etc. But if you don't know that, you can't tell the appraiser, and the appraisal might come in a little bit low, which is no good. So appraisals is a big thing people see quite a bit recently. And I think overpricing. I think people are right now, we're seeing a lot of people saying, that I think my house is worth this, and we're going, ugh. It's really not because of whatever reasons, An appraiser looks at a number of things. They look at location, obviously. They look at the quality of the construction. Is it brick? Is it frame? Is it aluminum siding? What is it? And then they look at the location, the quality, and the construction. The construction is the build. The quality, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, hardwood floors, new roof, new windows, etc., etc. So those are some of the things they look at that you need to be knowledgeable about as well. How old was the roof on the house that sold next door, right?
Right.
It's 20 years old and it's still sitting there, now 25 years old. Things like that. So I think it's important to know the neighborhood, know the area that you service, and we're overcoming those problems by communicating with people, asking questions. And if you ever get a chance, if you're a realtor or a lender, sit down and talk to an appraiser. They are amazing, and just the wealth of knowledge that they have about the industry is pretty amazing. So kind of cool. That is. So we've got Tony Trematazzi going to be coming on in that next week. It's coming on next week, and we're going to be talking about customer service and how do we serve our clients well. What is the top things that we do to keep clients on an ongoing basis? Because there's over 2 million realtors out there, right? And yeah,
And
there's 7 houses, right? And they're all looking to make a living, right? And that's probably why 80% of them don't make it, because it's very competitive. And if you're looking to get into the business, I have a gentleman now that he's getting into real estate, and he quit his job. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So
but as an entrepreneur myself, I enjoy that. Hey, you gotta jump out and play.
Yes.
Now, there's a lot of times, right? They say burn the boats, or there is no plan B. So guess
Right.
what?
There is no plan
Way
B.
to commit, man. Way to commit. And
God bless him. Yep.
And-
He says testing his faith. What
and that kind of guts can sometimes win,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and sometimes the win may come.
Yeah. Right. That's right. Yeah, luckily enough, he has an amazing wife, very supportive. He supports this decision, and he has people like me and you to lean on to help him to the next step, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So what kind of education do you do? So we know you study and you have to pass the state exam and to get licensed.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But on an ongoing basis, what are some of the things you do on a daily basis to keep your finger on the pulse?
Right. To keep your finger on the pulse, you gotta like reading, you gotta like listening, and you gotta pay attention. So we're looking at things like Inmans, we're looking at Glenbeck, we're looking at those. We're also going to the Illinois Realtors for our state association. Every state has an association, and the National Association of Realtors has a plethora of information that you can get, from buyers representatives to military representative stuff. You want to read the local papers. You want to see what's going on locally around you that can affect the market, right? So if gas prices are going up, people have less money in their pocket. Interest rates are going up, they have less money in their pockets. Does that affect their purchase power? Absolutely, right? So you want to pay attention to that. You want to be in communication with your lenders. You want to be in communication with your inspectors. You want to be in contact with anybody you know in the industry. Even other realtors got a little rock and roll.
Oh my God.
Oh boy, now we're really in it. Stand by. Put up the multicolor lines. I think I got it, maybe. Does that one need to stand up? Does that one need to stand up, or can it stay down? There we go. I don't know what I was doing. See, that's what you get for talking with your hands. But that's kind of crazy. So, but yeah, stay in touch with everybody in the industry. Because they have different things they're looking at that, because you can't possibly read all the articles out there, what's going on in the industry. Can't do it. Right? Okay. All right. So I'll keep my hands just back a little bit. There you go. Crazy. So yeah. So talk to other people in your industry to see what they're reading, see what they know, because there's a lot of information. There's no way you can absorb that every day. But for the local day-to-day stuff, be in touch with your chambers. They have a lot of information to pass on. The local newspapers are very important to watch, and then the local schools and stuff. See what kind of things are going on there.
Well, in my offices, I've got 10 rules of success. And
you do?
Yeah, you'll see that number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is learn from greatness. Okay.
Yes.
And that means that you have to forge relationships with people who are successful and have been doing it.
Right.
And
true.
You don't necessarily have to make that relationship with the person who is selling 6 homes a week. That's great, right?
Right, sure.
But that's an anomaly,
right?
As well. But Kevin Callback, who's got 20 years, people who do different things. That's greatness. If they're doing one thing that's working, you got to be able to talk to them and learn from them. One of my goals this year as a lender was to have a weekly conversation with somebody who does what I do.
Right, that's perfect.
Just to pick their brain and learn from them. Right?
Sure.
Not to try to steal their business or whatnot, but oh my gosh, you've been doing this. So we've had Michael Tobin on.
Right. Yeah.
And Mike Tobin is a wizard at what he does. He's wonderful at what he does.
Yes.
And he's and through the shows and conversations with him, I go, oh.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's for sure.
And some of it I may go, right. But this is a guy who's got 30 years in the industry. He's forgotten more than what I know.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You and me both.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. He's a master at what he does for sure.
Yeah.
He's not for everybody, but he is definitely good at what he does, and he's a good go-to guy for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. And
I've got we were just in the green room. We were on the phone with Kyle.
Yep.
And he and I have had a relationship. I love chatting with him too because you learn things from those people, which is great.
NMLS number 588-2300. But yeah, Kyle's great. He's been doing it. He's still a pen and paper guy. I don't know. It's amazing. I don't see that too often anymore. Where somebody's dragging out their pen and their scratch pad and scribbling numbers down. You're like, oh my goodness, where are we going with this? But he's on the money. He's doing an amazing job. But that is great. You're right. Weak leaders surround themselves with weak people. Great leaders surround themselves with great people. They're not afraid of people becoming better than them or learning something different or doing something amazing, right? They're encouraging and they're supportive of the people that surround them to be the best they can be.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to have somebody come work under you and treat them like garbage, forget about it. It's not going to happen. Right? Forget about it. It ain't going to happen.
What do you do? So right now we're coming out of a time of a historic time, 2020 and 2021. And when I say historic, the rates were on the floor. They're the lowest that they've ever been in the history of
I don't know that we'll ever see them that low again in our lifetime.
And now we're back up to what I would call a normal rate, between 5s and 6%.
I say probably a little bit low still. I think, yeah. I think that's
to all of
7-ish
2000.
maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're still very attractive. But we've had a lot of people go, oh my gosh, life's on fire. The rates are going crazy.
Right. Right.
So and the market has slowed.
Oh, absolutely.
It's fair to say. So what's the first thing you do when that market slows? Because if we're not closing deals, we're not making money.
Right. Yeah, you have to make money in order to stay in business. That's for sure. And historic lows, and I hate to go back to it too many times, but Dave Ramsey just put out a big thing that he wants us to share with everybody. So check on our site later. We'll have the link for you. Is what his theory is for the next 5 years, 7 years, and he does not anticipate home prices crashing. He expects interest rates to stay the same, maybe a little bit higher, and it's still a great time to buy. And within the next 5 to 7 years, if you have the opportunity to buy, you should be buying, because interest rates will go up, prices will go up, and even if prices go down and interest rates go up, you're still, that payment becomes awkward, right? So. You're better. In my opinion, you're better off having a lower interest rate than a higher price, but that's just me. How it affects your payment, right?
So a lot of people are concerned, and a lot of people put on the brakes and pulled their houses off the market.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen record number of contracts being pulled,
reactivated. Yeah, right.
And now reactivated. But everybody in my world, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, 2008, here we go again, and I'm like, well, not really.
Right.
And let me help you understand why. And the why is, back in 2008, we were at 6s and 7s.
Right.
And prices influxed. Well, then there was no place to go. We couldn't raise rates to help adjust some of that pricing and whatnot. So now we were at the dirt floor, the all-time historic lows.
Yeah, for sure.
So now we can move the interest rates back to a normalized position, and now people are going, ooh, now the prices. So it's really going to equal. I call it like an equilibrium now.
Sure,
because
absolutely.
we've been able to say, here's how we manage this. So we did learn.
Oh, absolutely.
We did learn from 2008 to 2011 there.
Right.
And it won't repeat itself. So I agree with Dave. It's just.
And that's the thing is, if you look at it, is back in 2008, is they were giving loans to people that couldn't afford them. That's a big problem. Right. And two is prices were not going up. They bought them at the highest part, right?
Are you sure that the McDonald's drive-through guy couldn't afford a $500,000 home?
I don't know. Maybe he's got a portfolio. I'm not sure. But where they're giving loans to people that couldn't afford them, and house prices were already at the top.
Yeah.
So when the market started to turn and those prices come down, there was nowhere to go. There was nowhere to go but out. Yeah. And now house prices have gone up. So if people are in trouble, they can still sell it and get out from it and go rent or buy something smaller, right? Yeah. So you're in a much better position. You're not going to see that big crash like we did. Dave says, in the last 5 recessions we've had, only twice have house prices gone down, and 2008 was one of those, which was an anomaly itself because people shouldn't have gotten loans for the house they bought. So that won't repeat itself because the banks kind of crashed.
A lot of new laws.
A lot of new
regulations came into play to protect the borrower.
They put a lot more liability on appraisers to say, hey, listen, if this goes sideways and you appraised it, we're coming to talk to you. So appraisers are a little more like, hey, no, we got to put this right. And I think that's why we're seeing things not appraised now, is because they're okay. Things are getting crazy. Your house is not worth $100,000 more than your neighbor's house who had a finished basement and you don't. Right. So not going to happen. So that's good. There's checks and balances in place to keep it so that market doesn't go again. And nobody wants. That's not good for anybody. Nobody. I ain't got nobody.
I guess, but that's the fickle, fun part of what we do. Is the uncertainty of it.
Absolutely.
But everybody has to live someplace.
Absolutely, they do. And whether that's and if you're looking for investment properties, I think that's a great opportunity right now, because the bank has held off on. And there's a lot of foreclosures coming. I talked to any lender, and they're like, "Oh boy." and they're not going to flood the market right quick, but they're going to start coming out. And when they do, those folks that are losing their homes are going to have somewhere to live, like you said. And where are they going to live? They're going to live in a rental, because if you lose your house, you can't buy a house. You can't get a loan.
The one thing I wish people would understand, it's hard because you're so emotionally attached to your home. But I would wish that people would go, you know what, I can sell now. I know it's my home, but I'm not going to ruin my credit, my life, my whatever.
Right.
And if I sell now, I've got a possibility of getting a home.
Right.
Next year or whatever.
Sure.
The case may be.
And some banks will do the cash for keys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you are underwater, and they say, hey, you know what? We'll walk away now. You don't have to spend all that money on foreclosure and attorneys and et cetera, et cetera. We'll give you the keys to the house, and they'll give you some money, and they'll help you with moving expenses and get you into your next place, even though it may be a rental still, because it is a foreclosure. There are graceful ways to step out of that home. So talk to a licensed professional that deals with short sales and foreclosures, and see how they can help you best, and communicate with your bank. Don't just ignore it, because they ain't going away.
Yeah, I would love to as well. Down the road, get an investor in here.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, not somebody who's fixing and flipping, but somebody who says, you're in trouble.
Right.
I'll buy the house from
Let me
you.
help you. Yeah.
Let me help you.
Yeah.
And because there are, but at the same time, it's very risky because there's a lot of scam artists and things like that.
Absolutely. Yep. And there's a couple realty companies that do that now. They come in and they say, hey, we buy it from you cash. You don't have to clean it. You don't have to. You can leave all your stuff here. Whatever you want, we'll buy it as it sits. Just you need to leave, right? Take your personal property with you, whatever you want, and they'll go from there. There's guys that do. There's a lot of opportunity out there for people that are getting a little bit upside down, but still have enough equity in their house to sell it. So that's the key.
The other thing that I'm seeing on the lending side is there's still a lot of people out there who are in the adjustable rate mortgages, or the ARMs.
Yeah.
And for years,
it was great.
It was great. I just had a conversation with an individual who gave me a call and goes, what do I do in November? I'm going from this to almost 2 points higher, which adds quite a bit to their money.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, 2% is, yeah.
Right, and that, but that was, hey, for the last 6 years, 8 years, they were good.
Yep, it was like free money.
Because things didn't change. Now it did, and they're like, oh my goodness.
Right.
And they're like, when that happens, we're going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, understand what kind of a loan you have, and understand what are some of the options that you've got.
Right.
And,
Absolutely.
I know there's a solution.
Right.
Just know. Right.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, be ready, because those adjustable rates. I hear lenders talking about them now. They're like, hey, we can get you in an ARM and da-da-da. Good or bad? What do you think? What's your thoughts on an ARM at this point, in particular moment?
I think it's good. Depending, you got to take a look at the terms of the rate. So
right.
Like if it's a 10-1 ARM, that means it's 10 years. You're locked in for that rate for 10 years.
Right.
And the one means it can adjust one time a year or whatever after that 10 years.
Right.
There are some that are 7/6. You'll see, so you're kind of locked in for 7, but it's on a 6-month SOFR rate, which I don't need to get into. So every 6 months that can adjust then.
Right. Yeah.
So it's having a full understanding, working with somebody who's got a full understanding about how it works as well,
right.
and what is your end goal. So as Mike Tobin said, you marry the house, you date the rate.
Right. Exactly.
And most, on average, as Mike told us a few weeks ago, on average, it's 5 to 7 years is the average length somebody keeps a loan.
Right. Yep.
And
that's about right.
Finance or sell or something.
Yeah. It's about the same. Ownership is about 5 to 7 years on average. So it's So it's great to know those people at that 5th year. Hey, all right.
That's right. All right.
Kind of crazy. Yeah. So rates are still good. I think so. That's not a problem. I don't think the market's going to crash. From everybody I'm reading and such, is where I'm gathering my knowledge. So I don't see much of that. I do agree with you that the market has changed, a little bit. we're not in a pivot or a crash or anything like that, but it has changed, which is okay. It's good to have change, right, from time to time.
And now there's always things happening. So the big news is the student loan debt forgiveness.
Yeah.
And which is wonderful.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, a lot of people may be looking at their budget over the last couple of years when they haven't had to make their student loan payment. Well, at the end of this year, the moratorium on that gets lifted as well. We're done.
Right.
So what's that do to your budget?
Right.
And what I really appreciate about you and the part of Dave Graves is the education on the finance piece.
Right. Absolutely.
Let's take a look at a budget. Let's take a look at what's happening. And if you didn't plan for that student loan to come back,
right,
you might as we said in the old days, you might be standing in short pants.
Right. Yeah, it's for sure. Pay off all your bills. Get your emergency fund in place. Get those things done, and then you're ready to buy a house. Rent is a 4-letter word, but it's okay from time to time, right?
Yeah.
So it's depending where you're at. Don't buy a house if you don't have the wherewithal to do so.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in a bad position.
Yeah.
I like it when I have an. Never mind. But yeah, so it's good. The market is great. Things are going well. The interest rates are good. So there's a lot going on. And as we have agents come on later this month and next month and stuff, as we start going to the fall, winter markets, it's going to be interesting, the conversations we're going to have about how to stage a home in the winter. Are people still buying a house in the winter? What's going on around the holidays? Should I pull it off the market? Should I keep it going? And the general answer to that is keep moving. There's people buying all year round. We don't take 3 months. All the realtors just don't take 3 months off in the winter and go.
We bought our house in December.
That's right.
So in the middle of December.
Middle of December.
We moved
Yeah.
in, so
Yeah.
you can still enjoy a great holiday season in a new home.
Yep, absolutely. And
depending on when you want to move, you can get in before Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Or somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas, but it makes for a great time.
That's right. And then you get a lot of great Christmas gifts. People know what to get you, right?
Well, yeah. So what we did is we wrapped all of our moving boxes. So we gift wrapped them.
Oh, there you go.
The kids thought, oh my gosh, look at Santa dropped out the tent.
That's right.
All right, start ripping them off.
That's right.
Oh,
Hey, that's right. That's right. That goes on the top shelf over there.
That's right. No, we didn't do that. It would have been fun.
It would have been.
And it would have been great to see the new neighborhood as we were just unloading
Right.
2 trucks worth of gifts.
Right. That would have been really funny. Would have been a lot of wrapping paper. That's it. Yeah, as we go into these months, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, people still buy houses in the winter. We're going to talk a lot about what to look for when you're buying a home. What does a buyer consultation look like? When you meet a realtor, if they're like, hey, here's a house, what do you think? Should we buy it? And that's all you got and you have no other knowledge about buying a house, slow down, pump the brakes, because something's going on here. You should be educated about agency. That's federally. They have to tell you what their role as a real estate professional. If they're not telling you that and you're not having you initial or sign something that says that doesn't tie you to them, doesn't marry you to them, just tells you what their role is as a real estate professional and the different types of agency there are, right? So if you're not having that conversation, you need to be having those. And you need to know when you're going to look at houses, what can you afford? You should be pre-approved. And if you're not, sometimes they give you a gimme. They'll show you one for free, but then you got to get a pre-approval. But being pre-approved and knowing what the process is to buying a home, we have a book through the ABR that we hand to all of our new buyers. Kind of shows you all the terms. It shows you the process. It shows you just about everything there. Agency form, we educate you on what our role is as a real estate professional and what it's not. We are not tax professionals. We are not building constructors. We are not engineers. So you say, is this a load-bearing wall? I'm going to go, yeah.
Sure.
Talk to you. Yeah, talk. Yeah, that's right. It's got a picture hanging on it, of course. It must be.
Carrying that load.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. So we're going to do that too. And if you're selling a home, we're going to be talking about a lot of things about what you should be looking for in a realtor, and start picking your brain of what are you going to be looking for in the realtor you're going to hire to sell your most prized possession, right? And help you find your new one. Step into that next season of life. It should be an enjoyable experience. It should be fun, a little bit of energy and a little bit of nervousness and a little bit of anxiety. But overall, it should be you should feel comfortable with your realtor, and they're service people. You know, we build relationships. We work for you, and we will. If you have a question about, can I have a 6-foot fence here? I'm calling the village. I'm finding out. I'm calling the HOA to see if the HOA allows it.
Right.
We're gonna find out what you
chickens.
can I have
Chickens seems
chickens.
to be the hot item now.
Yeah. Some guy wanted to have go-karts. I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, no, not in this neighborhood. I'm thinking, but I don't know what he was thinking. He's kind of, it was a little bit off the rack. But yeah, so there's a lot of things coming up that I think people are going to enjoy, and really learn a lot, not only as agents, lenders, and home buyers and sellers. I think there's really a nugget in every show for everybody. And I think that's great. I think if you're a new realtor, it's a great show for you because you're going to learn a lot of the things that are going to make you good at what you do.
Yeah, and what we ask people to do is like, follow, subscribe. So, we're out there on the Neighborhood Pulse on Facebook. The neighborhood, you can follow 216net
Yep.
out there on several platforms. And we would love to have you, hey, throw in a comment, let us know what you want.
Yeah, let us know.
We're not proud enough to say, we're not going to cover that, but if you're out there and you're like, hey, here's a situation, or can you guys cover this, then absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And there's a lot of different, we've had Jim Heisler on.
Oh, absolutely.
From Heartland Realtor Organization.
Yep, absolutely.
And we think that there is, there's value in bringing in these types of professionals to give us a broader view because,
Right.
of course, our listeners, we've got a lot of local listeners and subscribers, but we are nationwide as well.
Absolutely.
Because we're on the internet. But,
Yep.
the other great thing is we're here in Illinois. And believe it or not, over the last few years, more people have been leaving Illinois than they've been coming to.
Right.
And so if you're a realtor out there, we've had what's his name from North Carolina.
Rick Angel. We had Rick Angel on. Yep.
I follow him on social media.
Yeah, great guy.
And people are moving to those areas.
Right.
And we would love to have you on. How's it working there? What's it look like there? What's that market feel like?
Right.
What are you doing in that market to bolster your career
Yep.
and to help people? That's the whole idea of the Neighborhood Pulse. We want to know what the pulse is in your neighborhood.
Right.
You live in Vegas. Tell us what the pulse is in Vegas.
Sure.
If you're in San Jose, California, if you're in, New Mexico, wherever the case may be, Phoenix, Arizona, wherever.
Right.
Mine
Right.
not North Dakota. I don't,
Right. Yeah.
there's
Absolutely.
North
North Dakota, South Dakota. I don't know.
The Black Hills.
The Mount Rushmore.
Right.
I go see Mount Rushmore.
Right.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you. We want you to be part of the show because
Right.
that's the pulse.
Yep, absolutely. And we're gonna have a lot of free resources to give out too. We're gonna have tip sheets. We're gonna have ways to do different things. If you're looking to do some farming of a neighborhood, we're gonna give you some handouts on that. This is what it should look like, and this, it's an investment, and it's a long-term investment. Most people start farms and they go 2-3 months and then they stop. You just threw that money in the garbage. Is what you did.
I got 2 calls at work.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's it. All you need is one. Anybody that tells you, it just takes one deal to pay for this and you're done. Well, go run because every system tells you that. They're like,
Right.
just one deal. So you get 12 systems. You only have to sell 12 houses to pay for all your marketing. It's crazy, right? I don't know.
It is. It's amazing.
Yeah. So we give you things to do and not to do, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of not tos. A lot of not tos out there too.
And what I love too is maybe we'll get Jim back on or somebody from Heartland Realtor Organization who talks about safety.
Absolutely,
it's a
yeah.
big thing right
It's
now.
huge.
Who talks about how to properly maybe do a virtual walkthrough.
Sure.
With a client. These
Yep.
are all things that's
Yeah.
now that the industry has changed.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't know how many you sold, but it just in the last 2020 and 2021, how many houses have been sold without the buyer even setting foot in it?
Yeah, that's the iBuyers are for real.
Yeah.
I mean, you are doing a video tours. You're here. It is. Bop bop. They're writing the offer. Sometimes the first time they see it is day closing. They're like, all right, sounds good.
Yeah.
This is what I'm buying. Okay, good. You're like, wow.
My son, he's in the Navy, and he relocated from Jacksonville, Florida, up to Norfolk, Virginia. His realtor, she was absolutely fantastic. Hopefully, we can get her on as well.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But gave them a walkthrough as well, right?
Perfect.
And a virtual tour, and it was amazing. Now, when they bought the house, were there any surprises? Well, there's things that you don't necessarily see, taste, or smell.
Right.
When there is that virtual walkthrough, but I can say that there weren't too many surprises because of it.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, you have to have an agent that knows too. When they walk in the front door and they go, "Oof, it smells like cigarette smoke."
Yeah.
You want to know that, right? Because there's no smell-o-vision. We've talked about that.
Right.
Not going to happen. So you got to know those things.
Yeah.
And it sounds like she did a great job.
She did a great job. It wasn't their first virtual walkthrough, but yep, she would do that. Like, ooh, you know what?
Yep.
What you're looking for, I don't know if this is going to work out for you. Right through the tour.
Right, absolutely.
It's a great house, great location, but because of this kitchen layout,
Right.
not really what you're looking for.
Right, that's it. And that's the thing is knowing what you're looking at and having somebody explain it to you and that you understand exactly what you're seeing. Oh, great white cabinets. Are they new? Are they painted? What's going on? Right, the hinges are all busted up. Are they slow close? Are they right? Yeah, okay. But there's a lot to know there and to describe to folks because you're painting that picture for them. They see it, but they can't feel it, right?
Yeah, and when you started all those years ago, did you ever think that you'd get to a spot where they're buying sight unseen?
No, not at all. Not on. No, that did not happen. Sometimes I have a brother or sister or whatever run through for them and stuff. That's a little bit better because.
That's good, yeah, but somebody still went in there and said, it smells like a dead animal.
Yeah, absolutely right. But yeah, this is amazing. I mean, technology today is changing the face of real estate for sure. It's you can pull up anything, and people are calling me up like, this house has been active 21 minutes. Can we go see it? And I'm like, whoa, hold on, slow down. So I don't think it's going to sell in like 5 minutes, but let's set an appointment to go see it.
Those days are over.
Right, those days are over. And that price point between 150 and 3 maybe. I don't know. We're still seeing a lot of multiple offers and a lot of things going on there. But once you get to higher price points, you're starting to see a little bit of adjustment, and even in every range, you're starting to see a little bit of an adjustment. So, but nothing horrible. And if you're looking for a great agent, reach out to us. We have referrals across the United States. So no matter what state you're in, and lenders too, we have great lenders that work 50 states that we've worked with for years, know, like, and trust, know their business, know their job, know how to get it done. And same thing with agents. We know people that take their education serious, they take their profession serious, and they've been doing it for a while. You're not going to get a rookie, or you're not going to get a seasoned veteran that's going to go, oh yeah, I'll take that, and then passes it off to one of his rookies. We want you to deal with the agents that are going to handle your business and the biggest purchase of your life with care and love, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
So if you want to be on our referral list, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you, have that conversation, and see if it's a good fit for us. With that being said, my friend, Freedom Friday, break the chains that bind you, whatever they may be. Sound good?
Sounds good. From us here at 216 The Net. Thanks for tuning in and catching up on the Neighborhood Pulse. Remember, like, follow, subscribe, and just be part of the Neighborhood Pulse. From us here, 216 The Net. Be good, but more importantly, be good to each other.
Have a happy and safe holiday.